Hey, this is Russell Whitney with Expert Insider Look, and I'm sitting here with Caleb Maddix. Caleb Maddix is a young entrepreneur. Started writing his first book at 12 years old. At 13 is when it was published. He's now a best-selling author of 7 books. Not only that, he has created an amazing success system called Summa Success to help every kid out there become successful entrepreneurs, being better in homework, just being a better you and a better kid. Wants to be a billionaire by the time you're 30, is that correct?
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
We're going to help him hit the goal, but I want to pick maybe earlier, we'll have that happen. I want to help him pick his brain, being an entrepreneur. Those of you watching this video right now, I always found that you can learn from people younger and older, doesn't matter what age they are, always be open for opportunity. Caleb, Russell, great to have you on the show. Like everything that you're doing, the movement that you've created is absolutely amazing. The Maddix
Summa Success.
Yeah,
the
Summa
Maddix
Success.
Addicts.
The Maddix Addicts, that's it.
Yeah, the Maddix. If there's any Maddix Addicts watching, shout out to you guys.
Awesome.
That's
so,
right.
I did a good thing for you with the Maddix Addicts. We already have some downstairs waiting for you. I love that movement.
That was super cool.
Yeah.
Got a little clip of the audience saying, I am a Maddix Addict.
Yes.
All the entire Maddix Addicts out there on the internet, they love that, by the way.
Yes, awesome. No problem. Question for you is, who came up with Maddix Addicts?
Who came up with Maddix Addicts? So, you know, I have a lot of friends who are like influencers and stuff, and they do big videos, and they all have like a name for their audience. Like, if you look at Justin Bieber, he has like the Beliebers, and like, you know, all these people, they all have their name. So I was like, well, what should my name be? So I did a YouTube video, basically said, what should it be? And there's all these really good names, but the Maddix Addict thing kept coming up, and the moment someone commented it, everyone was underneath it, like, oh, I love this idea, like, go with this. So I got to give them what they want.
Okay.
The Maddix Addicts. It's been pretty cool though.
So you did that by just putting out a post, and then what you got the most feedback on. I mean, it rhymes very well together. I love it. Now, I heard you often say there's a great quote, the gun that kills most people is the
gunna.
The gunna. Give me a little bit about what you mean by the gunna.
So this is my personal, I guess the thing about my life that I really look at. You know, like a lot of people, they have their signature thing. This is my thing. Like, whenever I die, it's gonna be on my tombstone right here, right? So that's what I'm gonna put.
Oh, really? Nice. Okay.
I'm putting that out there now. So if whoever's like making the tombstone, make that happen.
Yeah.
But basically, what the quote means to me is, you know, the gun that kills most people is the gunna. Is a lot of people say they're gonna write a book,
right?
You know, or they're gonna start a business, they're gonna lose weight, they're gonna spend time with their family, they're gonna post on social media. Everyone in life has their gunnas, what they're gonna do. And what I found is so many people are caught up saying they're gonna do this, gonna do that, that they get stuck in that and they end up killing their dreams with this gun called gunna. So I mean, although there's a lot of dangerous guns out there and there's stuff that happens, I believe that the number one tragedy and the number one thing that happens every single day that a lot of people don't even realize because it's so common is those people who continue to say they're going to or someday they're going to do it, but they never actually take action. You know, it's like Shaquille O'Neal says. He says there's 7 days in a week, but someday isn't one of them. Someday isn't one of them. Today is the day that you have, and go after it. And I feel like that's kind of my thing. You know, being 15 years old, I'm young, but instead of saying I'm gonna make money, you know, I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars now. Instead of saying I'm gonna post on social media, like I'm posting on social media now and putting out that content, building the brand, and I have videos with 18 million views.
Awesome.
So that's my signature thing.
It's basically getting people to act now, which is you know, one thing those of you that follow me will understand. It's all about taking action on whatever it is your dreams are. If you want to become a millionaire, you want to be making $10,000 a month, you want to quit your job, it's all about taking action. And I agree with that. I'm gonna. I did that for a while, even for losing weight. Before I was like 250 something pounds. I lost over 50 pounds. Yeah. So you know, I kept saying I'm gonna until my wife showed me that I look like the Family Guy and literally put a picture next to each other, and I said, okay, I'm definitely doing this. I'm taking action. So when you got started as a kid, let's talk about the gunna, because I like that. And what got you to start taking action and knowing that at such a young age? I mean, I don't think most kids know at your age to take action and just to start doing it and get it done.
So for me, you know, I'm very privileged because I like to say I have the best dad in the entire world, like the best dad on the planet. You know, I've hung out with you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I've been over his house, Sylvester Stallone, Tony Robbins, you know, like all these different people. And they're all kind of a letdown because, like, I realize, like, the best person really is who I live with, you know. So it's definitely a blessing to have my dad. But my dad did something very special whenever I was 7 years old. And I actually did a video about this, and that's the video that has, like, 18 million views or whatever it is now. But whenever I was 7 years old, I went over to my friend's house, and I you know, we were kind of sitting down, we were watching TV, and my friend's mom walked up to him, you know, while we're sitting on the couch, taps him on the shoulder, and then, like, pulled out this $20 bill. And I was like, oh, cool, $20 bill. And then she handed it to him. And I was like, well, I've always been motivated for money. I was like, what did he do to get this, right? So I asked him, and he said that he did these things called chores. See, at the time, 7 years old, I was already doing chores, but I didn't understand the concept because I wasn't getting paid for them, right? My dad was scamming me a little bit. So I was doing the dishes, taking out the trash, but my friend was getting paid $20 a month to do that. So as soon as I went back to my dad's, you know, and we were kind of talking, I was like, Dad, like, why have you been lying to me? Like, why haven't you been paying me to do chores, you know? And I said, can you start to pay me to do chores in the future? And he told me, he said, no, Caleb, I'm not going to pay you to do chores. He said, I expect you to do that stuff. Like, when you're 40 and you're doing, you know, taking out the trash and that stuff, it's not going to pay you. So why should I pay you now? So what he said, instead of me paying you to do chores, I'm going to pay you for something that you're going to get paid for whenever you're older, and that's the books that you read.
Yes.
So my dad started paying me $20 for every single book that I would read, like success book, and if I would write a report on it. Okay. So first ever book I read, it was called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Yep. Then I read all the classics, you know, Think and Grow Rich and How to Win Friends and Influence People, all these books.
Right.
And I think it was all of those books, like going through those, and, you know, my dad motivated me through the money and having me read those books. Right. I think that was really the secret for me of, like, I started learning the concept of going after it. I started thinking, well, if all these people wrote books, what's stopping me from doing it? So I stopped saying the gonna, and I was implementing, and results started to happen. And it kind of just all unfolded from there.
Gotcha. So that's awesome that your father, you know, didn't take the chores as far as giving you the money for it. Because I would agree with him on that. The chores, I mean, that's part of daily life. That's what you need to do.
Sure.
And motivating kids, I know for me, and why I became an entrepreneur, and I believe this, at least my own percentage in my brain, I see 95% of kids follow in their parents' footsteps. So if your dad is working a job, or mom, you're probably going to work a job. If your dad's an entrepreneur, into motivation, you're probably going to be into the same exact thing. So you got a great mentor, and I love that because my family did the same thing. Now, I got paid for chores, wasn't a lot. However, if I did well in school, or I got a better grade, or I read a book or went above and beyond, then I made money. So that started triggering my brain ways to make money, and I think that's what creates creative entrepreneurs like yourself and what you're doing. So I love the gonna piece, and, you know, shout out to your father for really being your mentor. Is he your biggest mentor in your life?
Oh, for sure, by far. Okay. You know, even to this day, he'll say stuff that, you know, I don't necessarily disagree with. I'm 15 years old, right, of course. So at the same time, I have different opinions. But if he says something, I'll go with it no matter what.
What's one of your different opinions?
Different opinions. Just a lot of business things, you know, like, you know, I'll put, because I get fired up whenever I post stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll say something like very like intense or whatever, and I'd be like, no, Caleb, like, you know, you have a brand, tone it down. You know, that can't go up there. And I want to post it, but you know, I won't. Just little stuff like that, and even on big scale.
Like if somebody's antagonizing you or something, or give me something, give me an idea of what you mean.
No, just like that's just a small example. Like there's even, you know, like businesses, like what I should go into, what should be my target market, just little stuff like that. Right. That, you know, I have my own brand, I have my own vision, but but my dad, obviously, he has the experience, and he sees it from a farther perspective. Right. So I go with him, and what's cool is, you know, even with what I've done in the past, like I've had a lot of different opinions. Right. And I know that if I would have gone with some of those, I can see some of my friends who went with that.
Would that hurt?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So it saved me a lot of.
So the key thing was probably hearing is having a mentor, and him being your mentor, giving you the guidance. Because a lot of people, at the end of the day, their family can't give them the guidance. In Summa Success, you help them with that, correct?
That's right. That's right.
So that's the good piece that those who watch and have kids, Summa Success, 100% the way to go. We'll talk about here in just a minute. But mentoring is one piece I wanted to hit on with your father, giving you the right mentorship and advice. And I will say this. I always learn, at least for me, when I'm making business decisions, and sometimes I can act rash, give you a little tip advice, is get some outside perspective before you want to make that quick reaction. Sit it back a day, think about it first before you do it, and ask some other opinions. I always do as well. So it sounds like your father's giving you great advice, right?
For sure.
Okay, what is the best piece of advice he ever gave you?
The best piece of advice he's ever given me, you know, I would say for me, it's the things that most people don't think about. You know, like I see a lot of my friends who have entrepreneurial parents. They always are teaching about money and money principles. My dad always taught me that. But I think one of the number one things for me that my dad taught me is just the power of giving. You know, I think that's really what it is.
True.
You know, even since I think, 14 years old, by the time I turned 14 years old, I'd been on over 53 missions trips. And I think seeing that stuff, that's what people don't factor in. You know, I do videos about working hard, and I believe you need to work hard. You know, I do videos about, being smart, reading, and this type of stuff. But a factor a lot of people just don't realize is the giving side.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like my motto has been, when nothing's going good for you, do something good for somebody else.
True.
And there's so many people who don't live by that that mindset. They don't live by that motto. They're all about the income, which is great. I love money.
Yep.
Like, there's nothing you can do to stop me from making billions of dollars. You know, like that's a goal of mine. But I put impact before income.
Right.
You know, everything that I do, I make sure I'm making a difference. And, all the successful people I've met, they think the same way.
Yes, of course. Giving back to more people you help, more money you're going to make. I mean, at the end of the day, also better that you're going to feel. I had to learn that a little bit the hard way. In my early 20s, I was going after the greed. And those of you that are in your 20s, just going after the greed. And I was always just, what's in it for me? As opposed to, how can I help other people?
For sure.
And it brought me to a downfall. Now it changed to an uprise, and the way I do it is by giving back and helping people out, like through this show. So it sounds like your father's giving you great advice. I had my father was one of my first mentors as well, and it's very aligned. It's great. I love what you have here.
Awesome.
Everyone, you're watching Expert Insider and taking an insider look at Mr. Caleb Maddix' life. 15-year-old entrepreneur, crushing it right now. Doesn't even have a car yet, but we're going to talk about what his future is and what he's wanting to do with Summa Success. So stay tuned, because I'm going to start talking with him about the movement he has created to help tons of kids become better in their life.